Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to this special 2026 FIFA World Cup Match Day number 3 review show. I'm joined once again by Michael Martinez from Cascadia FC. I'm your host, Daniel Feuerstein, and we are ready to talk about these 4 big matches. It was a long day, Michael, of World Cup action, but, I got to tell you, man, this was unbelievable what we watched today from the very first game over at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, MetLife Stadium, Foxborough Stadium, and finally the late nighter between Australia and Turkey. A lot to dive into, but how are you? And sorry I missed you last week. I know something popped up. That's okay. I understand. But, real quick before we talk about these games, give me your thoughts of last night's USA-Paraguay match. Historical moments in this one for the U.S., but a performance that I wasn't expecting. I was in complete shock and disarray. I couldn't believe what we watched.
I don't think any of us were ready for that. I certainly wasn't. I mean, I said the night before that I was expecting the U.S. to be hit third in this group, and they put out a performance looking like they're going to top this group and make a decent run into this World Cup. I mean, I know it's early. I'm not going to say the U.S. are favorites or going to make the semifinals or anything, but they looked really damn good last night. And yeah,
They
there are a
really
few
did.
like messy moments where I'm like, oh, why didn't you finish that? Or you're wide up in front of goal. Why'd you tap it to the keeper? But for the most part, the U.S. looked like the dominant team.
What really surprised me about Paraguay was when they put the ball in their own net in the 7th minute, that completely deflated them. Absolutely deflated them. But it wasn't just that. I mean, I don't want to go too far here because, what we saw was amazing and it was tremendous. And I did we play Argentinian football the way that
No.
Pochettino saw us, how we played? I mean, did it feel Argentinian somewhat? Or was it just these guys just knew what the assignments were and they just performed pretty damn good?
I think for the most part, they understood the assignments. I mean, there's a couple times in a couple passing sequences where I was like a little confused on what players were doing, but for the most part, they all knew their roles. They knew what they were doing. They were getting to good passing lanes, and the build up to Giorena's that last goal was phenomenal. And I just hope the U.S. can continue that against Turkey and against Australia.
Yep, exactly. And of course, we'll get to that game later on in the show. But obviously, first time we've had a multi-goal scorer in a game since Bert Patinadou in the 1930 World Cup. Of course, he got the hat trick,
Mhm.
but Balogun got 2 goals. So that's the first time since 1930. And the funny thing is that match back in 1930 in the World Cup, the inaugural World Cup, that game by the U.S. was scored against Paraguay.
It was like
From
destiny written.
1930, the Paraguayan national team gets beat by one man with a hat trick, and they get beat by one of their own guys and 2 by Balogun. And of course,
Uh,
Reina towards the end of the game. But Balogun gets 2 goals, and the other guy, Bert uh, Patinadu, gets a hat trick back then in 1930 against Paraguay. Did you ever thought it's going to take 96 years against the same country to have that happen?
I don't think anybody did, to be honest. I was honestly hoping for Balogun hat trick, but then the Pochettino decided to pull the Portland Timbers and just not score, give him a hat trick, but it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, of course, another moment. This is the first time since the 2002 World Cup in South Korea and Japan where the United States has scored 3 goals. And the last time, like I said, in 2002 World Cup, they scored 3 goals in the first 36 minutes against Portugal. And that wasn't when Cristiano Ronaldo was on the team. This is when you had Luis Figo, Sergei Conceição, Beto, Jorge Costa. It was John O'Brien, then Jorge Costa with an own goal, blocking Landon Donovan's cross, went into her own net. Brian McBride with the diving header from the long cross by Tony Sane. And now in this first half against Paraguay, the own goal and the 2 by Balogun in the first 45.
It's crazy. And honestly, for me, I can't tell. I watched this game over like twice now at this point. I can't tell if it was just the U.S. being playing really, really well, or if it's Paraguay being so down on themselves after that own goal that they just kind of let everything happen. I'm gonna chalk it up to a bit of both, but like if the U.S. can continue this momentum, they'll be a scary team. They're not going
It's
to
a
be a
possibility.
contender, but they're going to be a scary team for everyone.
No, I agree. And look, I don't see us as a contender as well. I still think there's still a bunch of variables in front of this U.S. team. Be happy with the performance. Be happy with how they played. It was, most of it was the U.S., but it was also how Paraguay just absolutely fell apart in that
Yeah,
opening 45. They did pull a goal back, but afterwards, still, they couldn't do anything. And still, you got to face Australia and Turkey, or Turkiye, however you want to pronounce them. The next two matches are the most important. Obviously, Australia first, but those two those two opponents in the group, in Group D, are nothing to sneeze at. Don't assume it's a cakewalk, because just because they did great against Paraguay, don't assume it's going to be the same type of result against Australia. It's going to be different tactics. It may be different formations, maybe different players. We don't know. So for now, everyone enjoy the win from yesterday. I know it's now, Sunday, but on my side of the country at this point in time, because it's after midnight. But just be happy right now with what they did against Paraguay. And, we'll worry about Australia when we get to Friday afternoon here, which will be 3 o'clock on the East Coast, noontime for you. Don't know if
yes.
you're going to be traveling back to Washington State for that match. I mean, we'll see what happens if you don't, or if you do, if
I
you
will
don't,
not
which
be. I didn't get credentials, but it's okay. And also, I'm recovering
that's
from
okay.
knee surgery by then, but it's fine.
Yep. Okay, that's fine. But anyway, so these four matches, obviously, Australia and Turkey played each other. We'll get to that one later on. Let's get right now to the first one of the day, and that was, of course, Qatar versus Switzerland. Qatar, if they didn't get that goal to put them into at least getting a point and getting the draw, I really think they would have been in trouble going into the next match. But you have to admit, both goalkeepers were absolutely fantastic for Qatar,
Oh yeah.
for the Swiss. This was definitely a chess match. Not probably as big of a game as many would like to think, but this was a hell of a chess match.
It really was, and honestly, credit to both defenses as well. Like especially the Switzerland defense. There were times where Qatar was getting into good spots in the final third, but the Swiss defense held on. And Akanji and Evaldi, they have lots so much experience at the club level or for their country. But I do want to say, I want to get to the goals because I am fully convinced that the play leading up to the penalty for Switzerland, there's an offside. I don't think that penalty should have stood. And I was watching, I think it was TalkSport, and Gary Neville was on there, and he summed it up perfectly, which I don't like to agree with Gary Neville. I just want to start off by that. But he summed up perfectly that FIFA didn't allow anybody to see the VAR room, like see what the discussion was, like how they got to that. They never usually they would show that, but this game probably would have been. I think if with even that with a penalty, I think Qatar would have scored the final goal. It would have been 0-0. So it still would have been a draw. But I just feel like that penalty should not happen in the first place.
I think I saw it on social media. I think they said maybe there was a slight power outage in the VAR room. So maybe that
Mm.
was the reason why something was going on. And they were trying to do the offside line, when it's
Oh
blackened
yeah,
out,
the
and you
little
get to the last defender and stuff. So I think maybe that was the issue that I saw. They were talking about a slight power outage. And when they finally fixed it, I think they concluded right off the bat, I guess, it was going to be a penalty. We're going to leave it as a penalty. So, I mean, I think that's what the issue was, from what I saw on social media
Mhm.
about that situation.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's frustrating to see at such a high level like this that something like that would happen. But
Yeah. Yeah. I have to say this. I was a little shocked that the referee handed Mahmoud Bunada the yellow card. I mean, look, he tried to get the ball. He didn't get the ball. I know he got the guy. You know, I just thought typical. Just it's just a penalty. Leave it alone. But no, he went back and just issued the yellow card and said, "No, you're getting booked for this." So, look, you want to give it? That's fine. I thought they leave it alone. It's a penalty. Just let him take it and
Yeah,
off you
it could
go.
have gone either way. Yeah, I mean, with
Yeah.
when games like that, and even the game states right there, like the referee's gonna make their own decisions. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So, we'll see what happens, further down. But other than that, this was a very difficult defensive game after Briel Embolo converted the penalty in the 17th minute and the own goal, which I didn't think was an own goal. Qatari, I guess Miro Muhaim is slightly off his head and in. So don't do this. Yep, there we go. 1-1 is the final score for one of the Group B matches. And now Group B has everyone at a point and everyone scoring. B has jumped ahead of Canada. They'll remain in first, numerically, of course, or alphabetically, I should say. So well, that's the one thing over there.
yeah,
But
the group is completely open. It's gonna
yep,
be next. I think next game is gonna make a break for every single one of these teams. Like I think we're gonna see
exactly.
the first team out easily. Whoever loses the next game is done. Like
No, I
it's
agree. I
tough. Yeah,
absolutely agree. And then again, it all depends on who's going to get that one of those third place finishes that could go to the round of 32. I mean, we'll see what happens there. But, Canada right now, I think, has a lifeline at this point in time. And they're going to be facing Qatar next. And Switzerland will be facing Bosnia and Herzegovina next in Group B. So that's going to be really something special there.
should be a good
Uh,
game.
should be a good game. How about this one? I never thought we are going to get a heavyweight matchup in the first round, or at least the first group stage game in C. Brazil and Morocco. Almost a clean game. Almost a clean game. Mostly for Morocco, but
Mhm.
I got to tell you, man, it was really, really fun to watch that, especially the second half, because both sides were fighting, scratching, clawing. They were giving it their all in the second half. No one scored, unfortunately, to get the go ahead goal. But, this is why Brazil is a 5-time World Cup champion. And this is why Morocco is still hunting for their first. And they want to be the first African country to win that little golden trophy.
The quality of play in this game was insane. I would encourage any neutral fan to rewatch this game at least 2 or 3 times. Like you can point out every single individual player and just talk about how good they were. I do want to talk about Ayub Boudidi, who plays for Lille in Ligue
Mm-hmm.
1. He
Mm-hmm.
dominated this midfield. He is 18 years old. He just chose to represent
God.
Morocco a month
Oh,
before this
God.
game, and
No.
he made Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro look like amateurs. Like this kid was balling out. He was controlling the midfield. Everything was going through him. Like I think he is he can be a breakout star in this World Cup for sure.
Oh, absolutely. You know what the old adage is? If you're old enough, you're good enough. 18,
Yeah.
and he's dominating Brazil in the midfield. Unbelievable.
It's insane. And then he was representing France for such a long time at the youth levels, and then decides to represent Morocco and plays 2 games for them before this World Cup. Like it, that the Moroccan talent pipeline is infinite, and I can see this team being the first African side to win the World Cup. Maybe
Hmm.
not this year, but at some point, I can see it happening.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. And you know what? It's just unbelievable what they're able and what they're capable of doing. It's just unreal. Absolutely unreal that the this Moroccan team can just churn players like it's no tomorrow. And I mean, you see these reports, you see these interviews. The king of Morocco just poured in all this money into the national team program on the youth level to the senior level, brand new, training facility, fields, everything and anything. And, to see them put all this money into their national team programs is just unbelievable because no one thought about Morocco as a football power, especially in the African continent. I mean, you could probably talk to people who've covered CAF. You talk to people about all the different national teams that are in the continent. Yeah, we don't know about Morocco. I mean, if you tell me like who would you talk about? Obviously Nigeria. You'd probably talk about Ghana. You talk about Senegal.
Senegal,
You
yeah.
you probably talk about maybe a couple of middleweights like Burkina Faso. You could talk about all these different nations in Africa that you could say, well, this could be the upcoming power. This could be the new power coming in. And now Morocco just comes out of nowhere and says, oh, you don't see us? Yeah, watch what we're going to do here. And look what they did in the last World Cup. They made it to the third place match and won it. And the best position for an African side.
And they built on that too. Like I said, they built on
Mhm.
the infrastructure and built on that fantastic start in 2022. And the
Mhm.
amount of like dual nationals they keep bringing in, and they want to represent that badge. Not they just don't want to play for the country or play at the World Cup. They want to represent Morocco, which you which we're seeing that with the U.S. and Mexico and all these other dual nationals everywhere else. But like we really can see it with Morocco. Like in the AFCON final, you see Diaz. He was crying after he missed that penalty. Like he really felt that. It wasn't just because he missed it. He was feeling that because he felt that for his country.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You know, I gotta tell you, whenever you watch, the Moroccan youth teams, whether it be, the past Olympics that was in France, the under 17 World Cup tournament against, they played against the US kids in the under 17 tournament. I mean, look, they're fabulous. They're absolutely fabulous. You don't have to rile them up to get a victory. They can just go out there and like on their pinky can just take you down all by themselves, whether it be in the Olympics, the under 20 World Cup, the under 17 World Cup. They are developing some fantastic players. And you're right. One day Morocco is going to win a World Cup. It may not be this one. You never know, though. They could sneak in somehow and go on another run. We'll have to wait and see what they do after the group stage, depending on who they're going to be facing in the next two matches, which obviously is going to be Haiti and Scotland. So we'll see what happens there. But right now, you can say Morocco is going to be you can't say a dark horse anymore. So I would say maybe,
They're
uh,
borderline like the next tier below favorites.
yeah, absolutely. Borderline. I agree with you there. Borderline favorites right now. So it's just been amazing. But so far it's only been, and we'll get to the other two games to review them in a moment. What are your thoughts of this World Cup right now? We are already 2, 4, 8 matches in, 3 match days in so far. What's your thoughts of what you've seen so far? Not just with Mexico, Canada, the United States, but these other national teams that you've watched.
The quality of play has been so much better. I mean, I know the Qatar World Cup in 2022, the quality of play was really good, but I feel like everyone's really bringing it in 2026. Maybe the first game today, the Switzerland Qatar, was a bit of a snooze fest at times, but for the most part, every single game has been high flying. It's been super exciting, and for this Brazil Morocco game to really cap it off, it just made it even better. Like if everything continues the way it's going to be, this could be one of the most entertaining World Cups that I've seen in a while.
Exactly. Look, I did kind of disagree with the expansion to 48, but look, if this does become successful, then you'd hear about going from 48 to 64. And I'm like, no, that's way too much. We can't, you can't triple it to 64 until we have to see if 48 is going to work. It's off to a good start. Without a doubt, it's off to a good start. But I would not expand it more because then it becomes more of a joke and it
Yeah,
becomes
then it's
more like,
just
well,
yeah.
then what's the point of having a World Cup? You might as well just have it for 3 straight months in the summer until the end of August to play all these group stage games. I mean, it just makes no sense. You got to make World Cup qualifying more challenging. And at the same time, you got to make it into a real journey, whether it's Europe, Africa, Asia, South America, CONCACAF, Oceania. You just got to make it into a real journey. You can't just all of a sudden say, yeah, we're going to expand it and we're just going to let half of everybody go in. No, that just can't happen. Um, all right, so let's go to the next Group C match, and that is Haiti
Actually, before we go
against.
on to that, I
Sure.
do want to address a comment from YouTube. Ashu Ethio, he did bring up that 20 years ago, Morocco was a top 4 team in the World Cup. They have won AFCON and beaten multiple national teams recently. I want to give you
Hmm.
a shout out. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting
Thank
us
you.
know. Maybe it's just ignorance on our end. We just don't know too much about Morocco, but they are still a very quality side. Like we can
Absolutely.
still make a good run. So
No,
thank you for
Ashu.
bringing that up.
No, Ashu. Yes, thank you very much for letting us know in the comments section. Of course, anybody has any comments or any questions, or if we've missed anything, you can go ahead and chime in. We don't mind. Look, constructive criticism is always welcome on a show like this. So, we thank you, Ashu, for that. Absolutely. Thank you very much for the information. Um, Now we'll go back now to Haiti and Scotland. Obviously, Haiti, congratulations to them for qualifying for the World Cup. Obviously, first time in a long time. Scotland, more of a probably a better defensive side than attacking, even though this is their first World Cup in 28 years, obviously. So, they're just dipping their toes into the water too over in Boston. I don't know if you saw this. They had some fun with the Boston police officers. I think one of them was juggling around the Scottish fans, and after he couldn't do it anymore, they all celebrated with him, and they were so happy. And then all of a sudden, I think one of them gave another cop a Scotland national team shirt, and they all celebrated with them.
Oh, yeah, the
That's
Scots are
fantastic,
bringing the vibe. It's fantastic.
isn't
But
it?
I want to
It-
go to Boston just to hang out with the Scots.
Me too. Me too. Well, you could always go to see Michael McCall over in Vancouver. He's Scottish. You could
I
always
could,
call him
yeah.
up and say, "Hey, listen, when he comes back to see the Sounders play for the against the Whitecaps, you can say hi to him."
That's not as fun though.
I know. Don't
I want
say
to sing the
that.
songs with Scotland. I want to sing them
Hey, he
songs.
he may sing the songs with you. Don't worry.
That's
Actually, he was
true.
actually in Boston. Actually, he
Oh,
went to
incredible.
Boston. He actually went to Foxborough to go for the match. That's what he told me. He was actually in Foxborough. Shame he won't be down here when they're playing Miami. Playing down here in Miami when they're playing Brazil. But hey, saw him during the
Funny.
Champions Cup semis, second leg, when the Whitecaps took on Inter Miami 2 years ago. So that was fun. Michael's a good guy. But that was a great goal by John McGinn, the 28th minute. And then, basically, Haiti couldn't do much at all. Scotland just basically parked
They
the
bunkered,
bus.
yeah.
Yep.
But
Just
Haiti
held
looked
on.
really good.
Hmm.
I mean, I know again, they're another side that has a lot of dual nationals, but they still really brought it to Scotland. I thought for the most part, even leading up to the goal, Haiti was the better team throughout the
Oh, yeah.
entire match. And I
Oh,
can
yeah.
really see them
Absolutely.
taking it again they can probably take it to Morocco and Brazil, make it a really good matches. They might not win, but they'll still look really good.
Yep.
And I can see them
No,
being a
they
really
really
good team in CONCACAF. Like,
no, absolutely. I mean, look, Haiti, uh, you know, ever since, when the US, Canada, and Mexico automatically qualified as hosts for this World Cup, the qualification route was more up for grabs than before, obviously. And to
mhm.
see, and the way Haiti qualified, it's like the strangest of things. They were in the same group with Honduras and Costa Rica and Nicaragua. They knocked out Nicaragua, winning 3-0, playing their home matches in Curacao, which is it's unfortunate. but it had to be done because of all the political issues going on over there and the violence that's going on over there in Haiti. It's unfortunate, but they had to be safe and everything. And then they're waiting because they won the match, and they're waiting to see what's going to happen between Costa Rica and Honduras. And can you imagine that they both knocked themselves out into the top spot? They didn't even score a goal. They defended each other like there's no tomorrow, and they never, ever scored a goal. And when the final whistle blew, they both looked at each other like, what the hell just happened? And they
But we
all
made it.
collapsed. They collapsed on the pitch. Like, what did we just do to
They put it
ourselves?
all out there. Like they really played for their country, and
They
it was
did.
great to see.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
no
was
goals were scored, but
fantastic.
it's still great. Yeah,
Yeah, it was great. And then Haiti's the only team to leave Group C in the final round, while, and of course, that allowed Suriname to go to the playoff, even though they got knocked out in the final playoff match. And I mean, I'm sorry, not the final playoff match, the semifinal playoff match in Mexico. They got knocked out of that. They should have won that match because they were up 1-0,
so yeah,
but unfortunately, I think they fell to Bolivia, and
yeah.
Bolivia fell to Iraq. So, still though, wow, yep, yep. And
I do
here's
want to talk about the midfield. Haiti's midfield, they were so great. What is it? Danley Jacques from Philadelphia Union. He is
yes,
the only Philadelphia Union current player playing in the World Cup. He was
hmm
fantastic, and him and Bellegarde were
hmm
they controlled that game. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I'm personally rooting for Scotland in this World Cup just because they're fun. They're a great time,
yep,
but Haiti was so fun. They're just such a
hmm
good team.
yeah, they really were. And like I said, the Scots are fantastic. I love the Scottish people. They're awesome, and especially their chants and everything. Um, like I said, I feel bad for the Haitians, but obviously, hopefully they'll qualify for 2030. We'll see what happens, obviously. And, once again, Haiti gave it their all. And we'll see who they'll face in the next game. Obviously, it will be between either, I think they're facing Brazil next, Haiti, and Scotland's facing Morocco next. So both teams are going to have, some difficult times here. Scotland right now, top of the group with the 3 points. Morocco and Brazil are second with a point and a goal each. And of course, Haiti, unfortunately, last in C, and they're going to be, tough hill to climb, but we'll see what happens further down the road in this FIFA World Cup. And of course, finally, the match that just recently ended, Australia taking on Turkey. I know Group D, once again. Okay. I don't know if you're a basketball fan or not, if you're an NBA fan or not. I know Portland has the Trailblazers, but being a Knicks fan, it just happened. The Knicks won the NBA championship in five, another comeback victory, a comeback championship victory for the Knicks.
Congratulations.
So thank you very much. The drought is as old as I am. Now it's broken. Yes, I'm an old fart. I know. But I should have put down Group D and not Group B. But then again, I was in a shambles myself for like the last hour and a half after the Knicks won and the buzzer sounded. So I had to pull myself for this, Michael. I apologize. I had to pull myself together.
Hey, you know what?
And
I don't judge. I don't judge. I get it.
uh, and so it's a tear coming out of my eye still. Do I have to bring the hat out? I gotta bring the hat out. Oh my God, I
Go ahead,
gotta.
go for it.
All right, shameless plug is over. Sorry about that, guys. I had to do it. Shameless plug is over. Um, but Australia, this is why I am nervous for the next U.S. match when they play Australia, because they will bully you and defend against you when you have the ball. And even if you don't have the ball, they will find the opportune time to bury the ball in the back of the net. To hell with the friendly they played in Commerce City, Colorado, at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. Just throw it out the window. Don't even assume this is a cakewalk of a match. The Aussies will find a way to intimidate you and put you on your heels, whether you want it or not.
Oh yeah, the Australia's coach Johnny Popovich, he changed the game plan. He knew exactly how to defend and break down this Turkiye side. And I can see, like you said, this Australia team is going to be incredibly hard to break down. They're going to sit back. They're going to let you have the ball. And we've seen the US, when they have the ball too much, they don't look too good when they do it. They're just going to stumble over themselves. So I think this will be a really good chess match between the two. And that game is going to be really exciting to see.
No, it really will be. And I think this is where Pochettino is really going to have to be on his best with the tactics. I mean, look, the passing around the ball, going from the midfield to the back line, looking to pick your spots on the pitch, on the attack, and then just to go back on that match with Paraguay, you could take advantage of them down the flanks because you could see that Paraguay was low blocking the middle. Mm-hmm. And when the guys got by them down the flanks and then cut into the middle, Paraguay their heads were on a swivel and did not know how to capitulate. They just
the entire second half.
Exactly. And Australia will not allow that to happen. Australia will come out fighting, swinging, and everything under the sun. And if they've got their book of tricks ready to go, they're going to throw it at you as well. So this is why Australia got the 3 points. And at this point in time right now, the U.S. is in first on a +3. Australia is right now in second with a +2. This is going to be a tough, difficult test, period. Yes. I don't care what anyone else says on social media. I don't care what anyone says doing a soccer pod. I don't care if they're going to tell you, oh, this should be an easy victory. It will not be an easy victory. If you watch that match against Turkiye, be up and be ready. I know this is not the Tim Cahill Socceroos. I know this is not the Mark Weinrich Socceroos. This is still going to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out fight, and they will bring the clubs. They will. They don't care.
Yeah, they'll fight right back. They're so well disciplined defensively, and the U.S. has to be on their A game. I want to see them. I want to see like I said, those flanks. I want the wingers and the wingbacks both cutting in, overloading that midfield, and hitting it right out wide. I think that's the only way the U.S. can get a result from this Australia side. Mm-hmm. I do want to talk about Turkiye real quick though, because going into it, their captain Hakan Çalhanoğlu, he was arrogant leading up to this game. He was saying in an interview that we should win this game. We have the better players, better quality, blah blah blah. And then while he had a decent game himself, look at the result: 2-0. You guys had 30 shots and couldn't get a single one in goal. Like,
no.
This game, the U.S. should be analyzing this game and watch the defensive patterns from Australia to learn how to break this down.
You got to give credit to Patrick Beach, the goalkeeper for Australia. You got to give him credit because he was just lights out, amazing in net. I mean, did they get a penalty in this game, Turkey? Did they get a penalty?
I don't
Or was it a free kick? So it was a free kick, and it hit the post, and that's unlucky. But still, though, there was at least, 2 point-blank shots that Beach stopped cold. Stopped them cold. And just wouldn't allow them to do anything. Yeah.
And I hate stats. I hate this. But he faced at least 1.5 expected goals in this game. They're stupid, but still. But he was there, right? He was in the right spots, making the right saves. And the kid's only 22 years old. You have to imagine, people are watching these games. Wouldn't mind him coming to MLS. I think he'd be a good spot for anybody. But hey.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I don't know I'm assuming he's playing in the A League in Australia, unless he's already gone. unless he's already like got a contract with a Premier League side or at least an English club side somewhere in England. I don't know. I mean, if he does, it's
No, he
great for
plays for
him.
Melbourne City FC,
Melbourne Victory. Okay.
or Melbourne
Yeah.
City.
Oh, Melbourne City. Okay, Melbourne
Yeah.
City. Thank you. No, I mean, look, he was just phenomenal in goal. He was unbelievable, and it's just like Andre Blake, always in perfect position. And whenever a goalkeeper's in perfect position to stop any chances, it's not your day. It's the
Mhm.
goalie's day because he's going to stop you cold. Yeah, he's just been phenomenal for them. And, I mean, this is where trickery is going to have to come into play. You might have to do a training ground setup play for a free kick if you can to, get him off his game. I mean, this is the type of match that the U.S. is going to have when they go to Seattle at Lumen Field to find a way to break through that. And when you talk about that game, if you're going to draw against Australia, just take the point and put in your back pocket and call it a day
And
because
then
that's
focus on
going to
getting the
be
result against
amazing.
Turkey.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And let me also say about Turkey as well. The captain of the national team should have known better because here's the thing. You can play low block against Romania in the playoff. You can play low block any day of the week during European playoffs to qualify for the World Cup. Okay? We all know who the big boys are. One of them was a big boy. Now Italy is 0-3 these last 3 World Cup qualifications. But you better have a game plan to beat Spain, Germany, and the English. If you have a better game plan against the Romanians, the Hungarians, the Bosnians, or, don't even worry about like San Marino or guys like that. I'm talking about those like just below the middle of the pack nations that used to be great. Hungary and Romania used to be great. Not anymore. They hang around. They're decent, but they're not like, where the Netherlands are or where, the Belgians are, or the
Yes.
Swedes or the Norwegians or the Finns. They're like, just below that.
I expected more from the Turkey side.
Exactly.
You have players like Arda Güler, Kokshu, Yilmaz, Honglu. These players have more ability in their back pocket than most players in this entire group, and yet
Mm-hmm.
they didn't show out. They didn't. I mean, they played well. Maybe rephrase it. They played well enough, but they
Mm-hmm.
were naive in their
Yep.
buildup. They underestimated this Australia side, and if
Yep.
they continue to do that for the rest of this tournament, they're going to be regrouped. And I
Yeah.
had them as one of my dark horses. I had them going decently far, at least to the round of 16. But they play like this, then there's going to be a
Yeah.
knockdown in the group.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So, other than that, Michael, let's go ahead quickly to review, I should say, preview tomorrow's for match day. Of course, now we can relax now, get some rest, get some sleep. First game at 1 o'clock over at NGR Stadium in Houston, or of course, Houston Stadium at 1 o'clock Eastern. And that will be a 10 a.m. Pacific in the morning opener. The Germans will be taking on Curacao. I think we go. I can't do the cross because I'm Jewish, so you can do it. Rest in peace, Curacao. I'm kidding. Look. I'm happy for
I
Curacao.
wish
I'm
them
glad.
luck.
That's all you can do,
Yeah.
Curacao. We wish you good luck. Let me just hang on 1 second here. Good luck, Curacao.
Good luck,
It was
Curacao.
nice knowing you. No, I'm just kidding. But you never know. Look, I mean, the Germans, they're not going to take them granted. They're not going to take them lightly. They're going to pulverize them. This is going to be basically, this could be, 14-0 in a World Cup. I hate to say it, but until Curacao will show us if they can sneak in a result, if they can sneak in a result, all power to them, and I'll celebrate them, and, good luck to them, obviously. But,
Yeah. I mean, their
enjoy the
last
bar.
win was against Bermuda. So, it's it'll be a great to see them play well, but I doubt it.
Yeah. No, exactly. Unfortunately. Listen, when you're in Houston, Curacao, enjoy the barbecue. Enjoy the Texas barbecue. Other than that, good luck. But hopefully you guys can do it, though. Look, we're rooting for you, obviously, as a CONCACAF brother nation and everything like that. Hopefully you will get it. We'll see what happens, but good luck to you against the Germans. It's going to be a real difficult one. Second match will be at 4 o'clock Eastern. I'm sorry, 34 yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. The Netherlands will be taking on the Japanese, and hopefully we'll have Kenta Hagiwara joining us for that one tomorrow evening, and that will be at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Dallas area. Of course, Dallas Stadium. Both those games will be on Fox. The Dutch and the Japanese, that is going to be a barn burner. I believe that the Dutch
it's
are
going to be fun.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, okay. Look, we're going to add, let's go ahead. Go ahead, Michael. Let me know about the grim.
Let's go to the comments. All right. Our Brazil 94 in the YouTube comments. Thank you this. I have a friend who is studying in Brazil right now, and he actually gifted me this shirt. And on the back, it has my last name and number 12 on there as well.
All right. That's pretty cool. I have family, obviously, around the world. And my cousin got me a jersey of his favorite football team in the Israeli league, Maccabi Haifa.
Ooh.
So I'm right now the only American right now to have that in this area, and apparently I've gotten a lot of thumbs up and a lot of handshakes, and it's like, how much you want for it? I'm like, none.
You're like,
it's
nothing.
Mine. Nothing. No, I asked my cousin to get it for me, and he got it for me, so I was happy about that. So once again, the Dutch and the Japanese. I think that's going to be a barn burner. I really think it's going to be really, really fun. And I just think that, this could be, a runaway train of a match.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, this could go either way. Like, yeah, the Netherlands, a lot of their players play in the Premier League, but like Japan, we've seen them play so well in every single tournament, every single game they play in. And their starting goalkeeper, Zion Suzuki, who is also American, by the way, he has been balling out in for Parma in the Italian Serie A. Like, he is a fantastic keeper. And if I remember right, I think, let me see. Sorry, 1 second.
Sure.
Daisen Maeda. He is, for Celtic, he is a baller off the bench. He's going to be so good. I'm just excited to see how this Japan side plays. They play fast. They play quick football. They're fast in the wings. They like to cut in. Like, it's going to be a super, super fun match.
It's really interesting how the Japanese FA has really changed things up a lot within their structure, not only on the national team, but of course the J League and all their other leagues involving Japanese football. So they've really become maybe a more stronger power in Asia and the AFC. So, and obviously we'll have Kenta on to talk about this. So it's going to be a lot of fun to have him there, and he'll give us his insights about it. And now we have the other two matches that will be on Fox Sports 1 at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We have the Ivory Coast, or Cote d'Ivoire, taking on Ecuador, and that will be at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. And, I think we all know how difficult the African country nations are when it comes to this sport. Ivory Coast, of course, we can't forget Didier Drogba from Chelsea all those years, finally winning the Champions League, even though he sadly couldn't win the African Cup of Nations when he was for the national team, but he rooted for them when they did win it, which was really nice. But still, though, this is going to be an interesting match. Ecuador is, I would say, kind of hit or miss outside of CONMEBOL, but they will give you a game.
I honestly have Ecuador as one of my dark horses for this entire tournament. Their defense is fantastic with Estupiñán, Pacho, Hincapié, Ordóñez. The midfield with Pedro Vite, former Whitecaps superstar, and also Caicedo. Like, I don't want to be just a dude naming dudes, but like this team is going to be really good, and I think they'll be dangerous against anybody who they come up against. Same
Hmm.
thing with this Ivory Coast side. I mean, again, dudes naming dudes. Kesse Sangarde, Jan Diamande, who is literally one of the top winger prospects in the entire world right now at RB Leipzig, and Ahmad over at Manchester United. Like the quality of play for both these teams is going to be, again, it's going to be another super fun match. I
It
can
will
honestly
be.
see this. I can see this match being better than the Netherlands versus Japan, personally.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why you qualify for the World Cup. And that's why we watch these games. It's going to be exciting. And finally, the final one, we have Sweden taking on Tunisia. It will be in Mexico at the BBVA, Estadio BBVA, the Monterrey Stadium, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. And that will also be on Fox Sports 1. Um, Look, people are still not happy how Sweden qualified for this World Cup. Not so much being in the playoff, just that their UEFA Nations League gave them a spot into the playoffs when they had a horrible qualification round to go forward. And many people felt, Sweden didn't deserve to go to the European playoffs, and they did. They snuck in. They took their World Cup spot, and now they're in it. I mean, I think the real question is Sweden going to show out, or are they just not going to show up?
I think it all depends on if Isak is going to be healthy or not, like 100% healthy for this World Cup, and if him and Victor Gyökeres can actually play together at this level right now. We've never seen them, either of them, in a World Cup match, so I think it all depends on them. Like the rest of the team, they're a team full of really good players, and their defense, and they are fairly decent defensively. They're structurally sound, but it all hinges on how well the front two plays together.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we'll see what happens there. Looks like we have another response from our buddy. So let me go and put this one up. Let's see. Yeah, he says, that's cool, dude. I was not expecting that. Looking for Turkey versus Australia post-match content.
I mean, I don't think anybody will expect to see a Gremio shirt just randomly, especially coming from an American
I
podcast.
know. Where is this coming from? How the hell did that happen?
Oh,
Yeah,
just you
and
wait. I
let's
got plenty.
Yep, exactly. And here he is also. Canada, you got to figure out the Jonathan David situation. Props to the U.S. for a great opener. Got to let you know that you knocked the hopium out of Paraguayans last night. Hey,
Yeah,
look,
I can imagine. Yeah.
we weren't expecting that to happen. I mean, I was hoping for maybe like an edging of a 2-0 victory, just take the 3 points and put in the back pocket. Nope, it's bang, 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 bang. Goodbye.
Oh yeah,
That
and
was
I
amazing.
want to talk about Canada's attack really quick because I thought it
Absolutely.
was
No, let's keep going. Go ahead.
because I know I wasn't. I feel bad I was on the show yesterday, and we had Joshua Ray from Area Sports
Absolutely.
Network, great
Hmm.
friend of mine. I'm glad he was able to come on here. But I
Yeah.
thought the Jonathan David and Tani Oluwasi, they were not very good together. But
No, they weren't.
the moment they made those subs for Promise David and Kyle
Hmm.
Laren, like it was
Hmm.
like a flip of a switch. They played so much better. I feel like the play through Kyle Laren was a lot better than it was
Yes.
with the starting two.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it was game script versus how Bosnia and Herzegovina were playing, but I just felt like nothing was really working with that front
Yeah.
two.
No, exactly. Exactly. I'll say this. I think what's going to have to, this is obviously just, look, I know Jesse's going to probably change things up for the second game against Qatar, but I think what he's going to have to do is either David and, okay, Jonathan David and Kyle Lauren up top, or he might have to do maybe uh, a Promise David Olawasi up top.
Mhm.
Now, if he wants to put, a like for like as a substitution in the second half, then yeah, you can do that. But make sure that both Olawasi and Jonathan David are not on the pitch at the same time. I think
No, it
that
just
might
doesn't
be a
work.
better thing. It doesn't look like it was going to work, and
Yeah.
and I think that's why Canada should have had more than a goal, and they should have gotten the win. That
Mhm.
because right now the Jonathan David Olawasi tandem is not working right now,
No,
and I
and we
just
we
think
saw that for that 60 minutes. Like it just was not. It
no,
wasn't there.
No, it was not. So, look, but you can say this though for the three host nations, 2 wins and a draw, 7 points. You can't argue with that at least. You can't.
Everybody looked great.
Yeah,
Like they're showing why they were allowed to host. Besides
exactly.
money, but that's a different
No,
story.
I know the money thing. We always know about that. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Let me ask you this quick question. I don't know how much you go on social media. I go a lot because
Yeah.
I use it for the soccer writing and everything. I think you do it too. I mean, does it infuriate you to read other people who are not from the United States and they're poo-pooing this World Cup? Why is the final game? Why is it in a non-footballing country like the U.S. or in Canada? They should have had the final at the Azteca. We don't. The U.S. doesn't deserve to host the World Cup. And I'm like, look, it's really simple. If you, wherever country you come from, if you want to, put out a huge bid to FIFA for after the next two World Cups, you know,
Then go for it.
go for it.
Hmm.
Period. Go for it. Just go for it. Don't sit there and complain, and become like, a Monday morning quarterback or, maybe a Tuesday afternoon whiner and just go, well, they're not a proper football. See, here's the problem. You don't come here, you don't live here, and yet we got Englishmen who live here who have played in MLS, who have seen the U.S. men's national team, that know about the national team, and they actually are telling you, hey, listen, look, there is a footballing culture in the United States. There is in Canada. The only problem is that for such a long time, people here in the U.S. poo-pooed it. And these are the ones who hate this sport.
Hmm.
In Canada, they completely ignored it until finally they made a World Cup. And then that started. And then if not for the North American Soccer League, we wouldn't have, you, me, our families. My family is originally from Europe. My father and my uncle immigrated from Eastern Europe. Like my mother immigrated from Eastern Europe, even though they met in New York, my mother and my father. And then I got to see the Cosmos play when I was a kid, even though it was after Pele when I started watching. My dad and my uncle saw him watching, but that's how I got the love of the sport. To watch. I mean, look, I'm still a baseball fan because I love the Yankees. I'm still an NFL fan. I'm a Jet fan. I'm still an NBA fan, which I just showed you. I love the Knicks. I'm a hockey fan. I love the Rangers. But I have room and I have love for this sport. And I want this sport to be popular like the NFL, like the Major League Baseball, like the NBA, and like the NHL. I don't care about who's first, who's second, or third. They're all in the cylinder. They're all in the bag.
I
Period.
think with me, I feel like people are. I understand people's like frustrations, like because the U.S. doesn't have a football culture, but it's like where the football culture is. I feel like in the U.S. is still very niche in certain parts, like
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest, especially. Like Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, all fantastic fans. LA now they're getting even bigger, and you see it like you were saying with the Cosmos over in New York. Like there are it's a very niche, and even with hey, the Portland Hearts of Pine up in Portland, Maine, like
Yeah.
they have these small pockets of fantastic football fandom here in the U.S.,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's still not on a national level because, well, we don't have like what ESPN or wherever else promoting it as much as they should. But MLS
Hmm.
is on its way up, yeah, and people will keep shitting on MLS as much as they want, but
Hmm.
the quality of play and the viewership is beating like even baseball numbers right now.
Hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
the
But
U.S. is the U.S. has its own football culture. People just don't know it because they don't see it.
exactly. And you know what it is? And being in New York City, obviously there's too many teams. But the truth of the matter is this: it's not so much as too many teams. It's just that they always say the UN is on First Avenue and 42nd Street. No, New York City is the UN. We have all these different cultures. We have all these different people. And, they all support their clubs. And, we should be thankful and lucky that we have, obviously, there's too much streaming going on, but honestly, you can wake up in the morning. And you can watch the Premier League. You can watch Serie A. You can watch the Bundesliga. You can watch La Liga. You can watch French League 1. You can watch Scotland Premier League. You can watch any league you want in Europe, any league you want in South America. You can watch the Liga MX in Mexico. And then when you come to the United States, it's like, well, we have our own league as well. And look, obviously there are issues with governance. I think you can agree to that. There is an issue with governance of the sport in this country, and that has to be improved as well. If they're making strides, I don't see it, but I'm hoping there is. And that means that everyone's got to stay in their lane, and certain factions cannot interfere with U.S. soccer business, because when that starts, and it's already been going on like this, then everything falls apart, and we can't have that.
No, 100%. And
Yeah.
I hate that we're seeing this interference happening, but I have high hopes after the 2027 short season MLS, and then we switch to the worldwide calendar. And I think after that, I think it
Exactly.
should be good to go. But
Exactly.
again, it's taking too long. It's taken 30 years for MLS to get there. But hey, you know what? The US will get there. We're not going to be a powerhouse like the Europe's big top 5 leagues,
No. We're
but
definitely not going to be a powerhouse. No.
but I
If we
can
get it,
see
yeah,
the US or MLS being one of the best leagues in the Western Hemisphere
it's true. But
if
still,
it gets to
though,
it. Yeah.
no, exactly. And the only thing is this: MLS has to stop MLSing themselves. I think I can definitely say that. MLS has to stop MLSing themselves. And that's the only way it's going to happen. It all depends now, once that Don Garber steps down as commissioner, who's going to take over the league as commissioner, and will he understand about what's going on and what he needs to do to, move forward. This is why, and I'll finish it off with this. I have said for many, many years, all the mechanisms that happens in Europe or in South America, all over the world. And yes, I'll say the dirty words, promotion, relegation that comes in. Look, moving to the international calendar is the first positive step of righting the ship. Without a doubt, this is the first positive step. We're not stupid. We're not morons. It's going to work because they do the same thing everywhere else in the world. They have a winter break. Maybe not England, but everywhere else around the world, they have a winter break.
Mhm.
Okay. So they know when to put a halt, and they know when to continue. That's the first positive step of making everything correct. More needs to happen. And after that does finally come to fruition, then everything will fall into place, and we will be right as rain.
100%. And I want to take it back to the Europeans on Twitter at Blue Sky saying that there's no football culture here. Once they're here, once they experience it in this World Cup, I think we're going to change a lot of minds.
Yeah.
And I think these fans bringing it are going to encourage more American fans to come out and bring it even more. Like there's nothing but positivity going after this. Like I was pretty negative leading up to the World Cup, but after seeing all the fans worldwide and seeing American fans interact with everyone else, like it's only up from here.
Yep, exactly. Absolutely. Michael, thank you again as always. I'll talk to you for Match Day 4 review. It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. Thank you for joining us tonight. For Michael Martinez from Cascadia FC, I am Daniel Feuerstein. Thank you very much for watching us this early morning. We appreciate you. Hopefully, you'll be able to watch the replay here on YouTube. As well on Blue Sky and Twitter, as I left the link there for you on my feeds. Once again, from Michael Martinez, I'm Daniel Feuerstein. Have a good evening. And as always, please enjoy your football. Bye-bye for now.